Hey everyone and welcome back, and yes, another 3 points, I don't really care how it comes. I mean, I mentioned it a couple of weeks back, I don't care if it's a 1-0 win, and this is what we're getting these days. 3 back-to-back 1-0 wins against Napoli, Empoli and Cagliari, and it's sitting us at the top of the table right now. We're looking pretty good, there's, there's more games to go towards the end of the season, there's much more harder fixtures naturally on paper, but all I care about is getting the victories. It doesn't matter how they come. I'm hoping more goals will come, as our we can't keep continuing on this sort of luck that we're going to get the 1-0 victories, but so far so good. But there is obviously one player I like to sort of pinpoint and sort of highlight when it comes to a victory like this. But I did it with Klula the last game because obviously Klula got the winning goal, and I thought it was a good time to sort of give him the praise that he deserves. And this week is going to be once again the goal scorer Bennacer, and Bennacer. And if we're going to look back at his, this is his 3rd season at Milan, and we're going to look at his progression. What he's improved on, is it his bookings, his appearances, the lack of injuries, all these sort of things. And we're going to see obviously a correlation to his improvements at the side right now and what is being his best season at the club. So let's dive straight into Bennacer's history at Milan. In the first season for him, the 2019-2020 season, he racked up a decent amount of appearances and didn't get a single injury. 35 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, no injuries, but 14 bookings. That was something at the time I was thinking, oh, this guy is just a guaranteed, yellow card, walk-in booking, basically. And I remember it was just putting us in jeopardy to, obviously potentially get sent off, all these sort of things. And I thought, he's too brash, he's too rushing into tackles, he was too aggressive. I love being aggressive, but he's too aggressive. It's just naive, really. I guess he was a younger player back then, and it's something he definitely had to work on, and he certainly did. Because when we go into the next season, the 2020, the 2021 season, last season, he had 30 games, 0 goals but 5 assists, and only 5 bookings over the course of that season. And this is something as well which many fans sort of pulled apart as a cause for concern with Bennacer. He missed 22 games due to injuries and fever or anything like that. 22 games. Yes, he did play 30 games in total over the course of a long season, but to miss 22 games is quite a lot. And between the bookings, between the injuries, that's 2 seasons back to back, there are causes for concern. I don't think anyone was really worried about what Bennacer could be, but we kind of worried about, what's the height of this player, and is he going to get past these potential faults in his game? And this is where we are right now with this season, the 2021, the 2022 season. 33 games, I'm looking down because I need to read these stats. 33 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. So statistically, obviously goals and assists is not something we look for with Bennacer. We want assurances, really. Is he playing all the games as he possibly could? Is he, putting us in jeopardy from potentially getting sent off? He is, the anchor of the midfield. He's playing as one of those pivotal roles in the centre midfield positions. But playing 33 games this season is quite a lot, and 6 bookings along the way as well. So it's clearly shown that he's addressed his booking issues, and he's also only had 1 injury throughout the whole season. So he's only missed 1 game due to injury. So clearly improved on his fitness. I guess it sometimes can come down to luck and obviously being overplayed. A lot of it has come from having the availability of Sandro Tonali this season, so not to put too much pressure on Bennacer to play 90 minutes every game. There's obviously depth in that position right now, and we're seeing, which is obviously deducting the sort of reliance on playing in as many games as possible. So he's addressed his booking issues and he's obviously addressed his injury issues. So far, so good this season. So why do we love Bennacer? I mean, there's a lot of factors to it. Personally, I have a left-footed bias when it comes to players, but that out of the way, I love his technical ability. You can see he's very graceful when he's on the ball, passing range. The goal we got the other day was fantastic, the way he sort of gets that foot around it. I think with centre midfielders and the past that we've had with people like Pirlo, we kind of either think they're one or the other. They're either going to be a Gattuso, which is just someone who's going to win the ball back, or a Pirlo, who's the other side of that spectrum, who's just a graceful player, great at long diagonal passes and that sort of stuff. What we're seeing these days with people like Bennacer and even like Sandro Tonali is someone who could do a bit of both. And I think in the modern age of football, even people like Luka Modric, for example, they can do both in a fantastic way. And Bennacer, typifies that. I think coming on to sort of the more defensive aspects of his game, he's fantastic at winning the ball back, and his interceptions, his calmness when he wins the ball back as well is fantastic. It's not as if he gets the ball back and he sort of hoofs the ball down the other end of the pitch for the opposition centre-backs to, recover possession and start up another attack. He calmly gets the ball back, he knows where say like the opposition players are closing him down, or his other players who is to like release the ball with and start a counter attack. You know, he's one of the many reasons we start counter attacks, is the way he gets the ball back and also transitions it into the, you know, the attacking midfielders, and even progresses the ball forward himself if he wants to. So I think these are great elements about his game. And the last thing to bring up, which a lot of people do, is his press resistance. You know, people love to say he's, you know, completely resistant to the press. Obviously not all the time, but because of his size, because of his low centre of gravity, he's very hard to get off the ball. You know, he sort of drops a shoulder and all of a sudden the attackers gets the wrong way, and we have the numerical advantage when it comes to sort of a counter attack or building up play. He's fantastic at that. You know, I can't speak highly enough about how he's very confident when it comes to his composure on the ball. You know, elements for him to sort of improve in. I would love him to, you know, to make sort of those more inward through balls if he possibly could, but at the same time, there are just so many bodies when it comes to sort of defending against us. It's very hard for him to make that sort of killer through ball. And I just don't think that's part of his game so much. I think, you know, he kind of works in and around that sort of, that perimeter, but at the same time, but like I keep mentioning as well, he is that typical centre midfielder who is not just one or the other. He wins the ball back incredibly well, and he also progresses it well when it comes to sort of building up counter-attacks. But at the same time, you won't see the stats sort of showing things. You know, you won't get most amount of goals or so many assists as well. He seems to be the linchpin of the start of the attacks. You know, he's someone that will always go under the radar when it comes to statistical analysis. But you know, really, when you look at his reviews and his match reports when it comes to games, you'll see that he is so crucial when it comes to our side. So the question is, how crucial is he to our side right now? And we have to say he's very key. You know, if we look at the month of March, we look at the MVPs that get sort of rated through the app. 3 out of the 4 games played in March, he got the leading MVP result. Obviously voted by fans and whoever wants to sort of like chime in with that sort of voting. He's crucial. And I think the other time as well, the other game he didn't get the MVP for, he was like joint second or something like that. But yeah, he's completely crucial to this side in this pivotal part of the season, which leads us on to his contract renewal. Obviously I mentioned it quite a few times before, he's part of that ilk, that class of players whose contracts are expiring in 2024. So I think I mentioned this back in like November, how it's crucial to get that, you know, Theo Hernandez, Bennacer, Rafael Leao, those trio of players renewed as quick as possible. And obviously with Theo Hernandez renewed, Bennacer seems to be the next one, and rumours came out straight after the game. It's been in the build-up as well from this game the last couple of months that Benacer's renewal is potentially close. The rumoured renewal figures seem to be about 3.2 million euros per year. He's going to be about to get paid, extend to 2026, and most importantly, it will remove the 50 million release clause or something like that. I mean, it's never been something I've been too worried about that being there at the time, because obviously, if we look back at his first 2 seasons with us, the first one, it was sort of the inconsistency of Milan at the time. I don't think he had many suitors that were going to come in and sort of activate that 50 million euro release clause. And last season he had the injury, so it was who's really going to come in. But this season is his strongest season, so to get rid of that release clause is so crucial. So if we break down the news coming out of the club, the first thing is Paolo Maldini and Enrique Masada's contracts will be extended apparently to 2024 and with an option to 2025. And we seem to forget that obviously management have contracts themselves. We just seem to remember just, you know, players and coaches and that sort of stuff. But we have to obviously remember that management have contracts as well. So I'm really happy that they're sort of getting their contracts extended, because they resemble the trajectory of the club. It's going in the right pattern, and obviously they're one of the main reasons for it. You know, Maldini's decisions when it comes to choices made in the transfer market or internal decisions. Masada as well, very underrated for what he does for the club. So I'm really, really happy that they're continuing this journey with us. Other than that as well, Florenzi is highly likely to be bought outright this summer. I think the fee's like around 3 million euros, 4 million euros. So I'm really happy that we're continuing with Florenzi when it comes to sort of like summer and beyond. As well, Sven Botman has apparently been blocked to have his move to come to Milan, so expect him to be the Romagnoli replacement. Also, we apparently sit in pole position for Renato Sanchez. Probably still a few things to negotiate when it comes to the transfer fee or is sort of the player wages. I very much think that that duet of players coming from Lille will join Milan this summer. And lastly, the last thing I will bring up is a certain striker has apparently agreed a free deal to join Milan this summer. I put that there might be another name that I think we should be looking at as a free agent this summer rather than sign Belotti, and I do think I have my preference to this pick, Jovic Origi. Yes, I like to think I've got my finger in the pulse when it comes to certain moves. I kind of called Renato Sanchez before that sort of happened. I had that sort of sneaky feeling we might have gone for Origi, and it seems to have happened. You know, if we look at the rumours, he's going to sign as a free agent, earning I think around 3.5 to 4.5 million euros per season. I don't know the exact figure, it will be within that remit. I think it's a great pickup. You know, a lot of people aren't sort of getting overly excited about it, and I understand why. You know, he is a bench player at Liverpool. If you look at the amount of games he's played, the amount of goals per game, it doesn't really convince you that we are signing a 20 goal a season striker, but I don't think this is supposed to be that. I think this is, and I've said this many times, this is a stopgap until Giroud and Ibra's contract gets extended this summer, until the summer 2023. And once we've obviously fleshed out other positions at this club, by that point, we have the money to drop maybe hopefully 60 million euros on a striker that summer, 67 million euros, and we can get the striker that we want, that one who's going to be that deadly one, and him and Origi will be that sort of striker tandem for the near to long-term future. So I'm really happy with us signing Origi, and obviously I've never sort of jump on it until it's official, but it looks like it's pretty much official anyway. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it, really. That's all the news. We spoke about Bennacer, we spoke about the victory as well. We've got the international break, so I'm really kind of hoping it goes quicker. Of course, Italy's on, but, you know, I always prioritise Milan, so don't tell my Italian friends that. But until next time, guys, Forza Milan.